In this video, we're going to wrap up December. I'm sharing my final reads for the year. My name is Raquel. I talk about all things Black books. Welcome and welcome back. So let's get into these final 7 books. Let's get into Ignite by Simone. This is a women's fiction book, and it is a spinoff to the Love and Scrub series. Simone wrote Crash and Ignite, and they are both about women firefighters. So Halo is about 45 minutes away from going home. She's tired, she's hungry, and now she's got to check this firefighter, right? She is the lieutenant. So a man firefighter under her been making some slick comments. So she got to put him in his place. Right after she put him in his place, the alarm goes off. So instead of going home, she's on her way to another fire. They pull up, they in this nice neighborhood, and the mansion is in blazes. Okay? And I want to read a quote directly from the book. It says, Da Vinci Bryans was stalking towards my scene. Every one of my 5 senses decided to clock in overtime. 6 foot 5 inches, pissed off chocolate perfection moving through smoke, capturing the air around him with ease. Basketball shorts hanging low on his hips, compression shirt doing the absolute most. I have to tell you, this description had me ready. 6 foot 5, and the way he pursued her was so sexy, but might I add, just a little bit scary. So he, in this one interaction, they have caught each other's eye and made some sort of soul tie, and he is pursuing her from behind the scenes, and I loved it. It was a little bit unhinged, but not totally. This was a really good story. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more than Crash. I think Crash was a bit shorter, maybe about 200 pages. I think this one is a little bit more, but this was a really good read. Um, his what's his name? Da Vinci is a professional basketball player, and he has this Looney Tunes ex girlfriend. So believe me, it's gonna get good and messy. Next, we have, excuse me. Next, we have when the Stars Rain Down, and this one is by Angela Jackson Brown. It is historical fiction. It's about a young lady named Opal. This is a coming of age story. She is about to turn 18 years old, so she feels like once she turns 18, she's gonna be free. Now, mind you, she lives with her grandmother, has lived with her grandmother all her life. She has 3 uncles who are like the caretakers of the family, and I love the way they run their family. It's like the grandma is, of course, the matriarch, but her oldest son makes the decisions. Now, grandma has the final say in the decisions, but they each have a role, and I love that. So Opal has a job with her grandmother, taking care of Miss Prissy Ann or whatever her name is. Miss Prissy Ann has a grandson. His name is Jimmy Earl Ketchums. So Opal has known Jimmy Earl her entire life. They've grown up together. But now that they're a little older, there's something going on that's just a little bit more than friendship, right? And she is kind of curious to see, what this is. She's never been able to date before. And Jimmy Earl Ketchums is white. This is Georgia, 1930s. And then Cedric Parsons start to come around, and he is properly courting her, which of course Jimmy can't do. but he's properly courting her. He's coming over, he's meeting grandma, he's sitting on the porch, he's walking her to work, and all of these things, right? But grandma doesn't particularly care for Cedric because his father's a pastor and he doesn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. And so that's kind of a problem for grandma. In addition to uh, Cedric is wound a little tight. Like he's a young man in the 1930s. The racial tension is high, and he has ambitions. There are things that he want to do that you know because of the time that they're in. It's kind of holding him back. And so they go on these outings. And whenever they go on these outings, somehow Cedric and Jimmy Earl's friends, not necessarily Jimmy Earl, but Jimmy Earl hangs with a group of friends who he thinks he's different. But we know that birds of a feather flock together. Now, maybe he isn't as bad as them, but he's obviously got the same mindset. Otherwise, those would not be his friends, right? So every time they go on these outings, they get into it, Jimmy Earl and Cedric. And so Opal gets this rude awakening. She is now seeing Jimmy Earl in a different light. And she doesn't like him very much. As a matter of fact, she doesn't even think that he's really her friend. This was a really good story. I felt like a fly on the wall. I could literally see all of these things happening like I was there in Georgia 1930s. The settings, the conversations, the feeling, it had this intense feeling like, you can feel what was happening in the book as opposed to just reading the book. I enjoyed it so much. There is this Founders Day celebration that they're going to have in a few weeks. It is around the time of her birthday. And so Jimmy Earl has asked her on a date and he's going to, take her there. They've got chaperones. Some cousins are going to be there. Like this is a whole town thing. Even grandma's going to be there. But this is where all the action happens. This is the big blow up. The racial tension explodes. A lot of things happen. It's really bittersweet, but it is a very good book. This is my second book by Angela Jackson Brown. The first book was Untethered, and I loved it just as much as I love this one. So I'm going to have to stick with her for a minute. And next, we have Capri 1 and 1.5 by Jaquel J. This one is urban fiction. This is season 3 of the Delgado series. So the first book is Capone's, the first season is Capone, the second season is Capadonna, and now we have season 3, which is Capri. Capri is Capadonna and Capone's younger sister. If you have not read Capone and Capadonna, I do not know what you're doing. I don't know what you're reading. So if you read Capadonna and Capone, you know Capri has some stuff going on. And so Capri needs to get it together. She has decided to go away for a year just to find out who is Capri by herself, without a man, without her brothers, without her sisters. Like, who is Capri? So she goes away and she is friends with Premier. During the time that she's gone, she is like sort of not keeping contact with anybody because she really wants to just find out who she is, what she likes, how does she function without all these people. And so she comes back, and Premier is there for her. Now, her and Premier are crushing on each other, but they decide to keep it as friends. Capri is an attorney. Although I've never known her to practice, she's got a promotion. She is going to be ADA, Assistant District Attorney. If you know Capadonna and Capone, then you know that this is very well possible. But not only is she going to become ABA, she is going to get some help because she's doing this for her family. She's got to keep her brother out of jail. And now they have some help. Another family member who's come along that they had no idea existed. This was so good. I thought when I started Capri that it was going to be just really kind of a romance for Capri. Just her own book and about romance. I was wrong. This is a continuation of Capadonna and Capone. All the action, all the drama, the shenanigans, it's all there. At least in these two books. This is a 5 book series. I am about to get into book 2. I can't wait. It's all there. And next we have Deuce by Kimberly Brown. So this is my third book in the Dillinger series by Kimberly Brown. And the Dillinger series is really good, really, really good. I had to start from the end and work my way back, skip over a couple of books, they are not interconnected that you cannot read them individually, even though it's a series. So I did Steel, I did Jada, and then I did Deuce. Well, I started off with Deuce. I stopped. I went to Steel. I jumped back to Jada, and then I finished Deuce. Now, the one thing that you have to know about the Dillinger family is that whenever they meet their mates, there's always some violence in it. So you've got Salima and Deuce who meets on their jobs, which is the same job, 2 different positions. Salima is working at this high end restaurant. I think she's a hostess or something to that nature. And Deuce, of course, his family is a mob family. And he is on a mission and happens to be in that same restaurant where Salima works. He puts a gun in Salima's face and falls in love with her. On the other hand, Salima has the natural reaction when you put a gun in somebody's face. And she wants absolutely nothing to do with Deuce. But he pursues her and pursues her and lets her see who he is as a man, lets her see his life, who he is, what he does. And he is interested in her as well. He meets her mother and all of the things. I enjoyed this book. Now, when I stopped, I didn't stop for any particular reason. Sometimes a book can be good, but have those ebbs and flows. And when I get to, that point where it's, just okay. Sometimes I'll get sidetracked with something else, but it doesn't mean that it isn't a good book because it is. But I have to come back to it in order to know that. And so I did come back to Deuce. I totally enjoyed it. And now we're going to move on to Jada. Now, Jada is the odd one out of the bunch. She is not like everybody else. So she's not wild and loud and out there. She is quiet. She's shy. She hasn't dated. And she is a tech. So somebody hacks into their system. Now, Capri is good at what she does. And so, in order for somebody to hack into her system, there's 2 things happening. One, it puts her family at risk. And 2, she's the best at what she does. So, who would and who could break into their system? And then you have Quade Michaels. Now, Quade Michaels is also a tech geek, and he wants to get Capri's attention, and this is his way of doing it. He's a tech geek, But he's still got them hands, and he's not gonna let anybody, including the Dillinger brothers, run him away from Jada, because that is what he wants. And I enjoyed this story as well. Jada and Quaid are twin flames. They are one and the same person. They're both tech geeks. They both collect Legos and, just do all this weird stuff that nobody else can quite connect to. And of course, she is the girl of what I think four brothers or something like that. So, the brothers are going to get in there, but he wasn't backing down. He was like, I know that this is my woman. And, if you want to go outside, we could go outside, but you're not going to stop me. And I loved it. It made my heart beat, because even though he was a geek, he wasn't scary. And I think that those two things in my head go together. Like, you're a geek, so you get bullied, you get beat up, you get chased home, like all those different things. Not Quaid. So he fit right in with the Dillingers, and I loved it. And then last but not least, book number 7. Yes, I only read 7 books in the month of December purposefully. And I'll just say a little bit about that after I talk about book number 7, which is She Gave Her All to the Hood's Finest. Now, this is by Siobhan Latrice. It is urban fiction. It is a 5-book series, and I only read book number 1. I only read book number 1. So I can only say so much about it. What I can say is that the main male character's name is Tony Wacko, and he is definitely not a ladies' man. Not by any means. He's rude and disrespectful. There's one thing to be rude or to be disrespectful, but he's both. Everybody's a bee, everybody's a hoe. Like, nobody has any names, and he's a lot. He's a lot to deal with, and he doesn't have any patience for anyone unless you're on your knees or on your back. Other than that, I'm not being bothered with you. He runs into Kamira. Kamira's a young lady who lost the love of her life, got into another relationship that was toxic, and got away from that, got into another relation. No, she didn't get into another relationship. She got out of that relationship. And then she meets Tony Wacko. Um, Tony is literally wacko, and he shows her why he's wacko. Why she stays after that, I don't know, because this guy is literally crazy. He has the perfect name. Now, he doesn't want a girlfriend, um, but he doesn't want to let Kamira go. Kamira wants to be in a committed relationship, but she doesn't want to stay. And so they do this back and forth throughout the book that was okay at first, but after a while it got a little bit annoying for me. I wanted them to make up their mind. Either get together or stay apart. Do whatever you're gonna do and move into the next portion of the story. But he definitely shows his name closer to the. I mean, well, he shows his name throughout the book. He just gets crazier as it goes on. Let me say that, and that part is good. It's funny. It's um kind of like, whoa, you did too much for too little. It's good. It's good. It's just, like I said. Anyways, so yeah, I only read 7 books in the month of December. I wanted to kind of relax, slow down, and just not read as much. I watched a little bit more TV than I normally do. I was on my cell phone a little bit more than I do. I was outside, a little bit more than I do. And so that was refreshing. I totally enjoyed it. And so those were the books that I read in the month of December. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Have you read um, The Hood's Finest. What's it called? Wait a minute. What's it called? Have you read Giving Her All to the Hood's Finest, and what did you think? I've heard some really good stuff about this series, but you can't really tell it from book one. So we'll see. Anyways, that was my books for December. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to leave a like to all of the YouTube things. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, see you soon. If you read Giving Her All to the Hood's Finest, let me know what you thought of book one. I don't know. I don't know if I should move on to book two. It's kind of iffy, especially when I have so many other things that I'm looking forward to. I don't know. It's kind of iffy, even though I heard a lot of good things about this series. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Do all of the YouTube things, like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.